Went to go see Masters of the Universe last night. I've been really curious about it. You guys know I'm a big Travis Knight fan, and I saw some really good reactions. We read the reviews. They looked pretty positive, like not glowing, but they looked pretty positive. And you know, as a Travis Knight fan, I've been really wanting to really like this film. And I recorded an out of the theater review last night, but I had been on the road for 44 hours straight coming back, got home in the morning just in time to get ready for yesterday's show, worked all through the day, went to the movie at 7:00 at night. And when I got home at 10:30 at night, which is normally when I'll then, edit and post the out of theater reaction, I immediately fell asleep. So that's why I didn't get my out of theater reaction last night. But let's talk about Masters of the Universe. All right. Didn't love it. Not sure I liked it. Now, let me start by talking about the things about the movie that I really did enjoy. There are a number of elements of the movie that I really quite liked. Number one, the action was really good. Like the straight up hand-to-hand combat action is really good. The first kind of key combat scene in the movie is Man-at-Arms versus Lockjaw. There's a fight that happens between these two characters. And the fight choreography, and it was great. It was filmed beautifully. It felt visceral. So everything from the smaller individual fights to the larger, grander scale fights, I really think were done quite well. I mean, not Civil War level, but I thought really quite well done. And so I really liked that part of it. The other thing I got to mention that I really quite liked about it. Somebody just mentioned it in the live chat. I actually thought the combat was better in this movie than it was in Mortal Kombat.
Wow.
Just the way it's shot, the way it feels visceral, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the other thing I really liked about the movie, and I suspected I would because I heard a lot of people talking about it, Skeletor is great. Skeletor is really good because on the one hand, he's really menacing and whatever most of the time. But then every once in a while, because this is based on Skeletor, right? He can be kind of funny too at the same time. I'll just say this. There's a vision sequence in this movie that might have been my favorite segment of the film. I won't go into any details so no spoilers, but it involves Adam and it involves Skeletor. And it was one of my favorite parts of the movie. Some people were asking me, why do you think Jared Leto hasn't gone on the press tour with the rest of the cast? I think because 99.9% of the people are going to come out of that movie never knowing that was Jared Leto. Obviously because you never see his face or anything like that. But I really liked Skeletor. I got to say, I really did. The other thing I really quite liked in the movie, but there was not nearly enough of him, but he was in it a little bit more than I thought he would be. And I loved every second he was. Cringer. Battle Cat, aka Battle Cat. I really like Cringer. I like Cringer a lot. That was really well done. And I gotta say, the humor in spots was pretty good. The humor in spots was pretty good. So I do not actively dislike this movie. I think there's some significantly good pros in it. I think, and a couple of jokes that worked were particularly ones that harkened back to the original animated series. Because the movie itself is not above poking fun at the original animated series. And they do that in a couple of spots that I thought were really quite well. Not all the jokes worked. A lot of the jokes didn't work, but some of them worked really quite well. Okay. Let me talk about the things that I did not like about the movie. And I'm going to start with a really surprising one. Alison Brie's Evelyn.
Wow.
Hated the character. Came across as just completely play on words with Cringer, but completely cringy the whole time. Never remotely even felt like she fit into this silly fantasy world. And it just didn't work. I'm definitely not blaming Alison Brie for it. Maybe it was a miscast. Maybe it was just the way Travis Knight envisioned the character. But for me, Evelyn really didn't work. It was really more annoying. There was one kind of funny little thing they built into her, though, because, Skeletor, not being the best boss, sometimes gets a little physically abusive with his underlings. And there's a recurring thing in it where when he is getting angry at Evil Lynn, like he'll grab her by the neck or make sure you get me whatever. And she's like, yes, my Lord. And then the camera, after Skeletor walks away, the camera goes close to her face and she kind of implies with this little grin, like she kind of gets off on Skeletor being physically abusive to her. I don't know. It is what it is. Take that what you will. But I really didn't like Evil Lynn. I want to, because I love Allison Brie.
Yeah, me too.
I think she's great. Her movie that she did last year with her husband, Dave Franco. Together. One of the best little horror movies I've seen in a long time. It's fantastic. I love her, but didn't love her in this movie. There was also a really interesting dynamic in it. A lot of the movie feels like it's aware that this is based on a children's animated movie or animated TV show. And they want it, therefore, to feel like a children's movie. Okay, I can get into that. Although you can do children's movies and make the jokes really funny and make the satirical stuff really sharp. But a lot of times they don't. Like, it's okay to be aimed at children, just make the jokes funny. And a lot of times the jokes weren't. But this was the other interesting thing. And I said this to Anne when we came out of the theater. A lot of the movie feels like it's targeting kids, right? And yet, there's a lot of swearing in it.
Huh.
And we all knew there'd be at least one, but there had to be 6, 7, or 8 fisting jokes. I mean, we knew there would be with Fisto, right? But they did the joke once, and then they did it again, and then again, and again, and again. Like that, like seriously, without exaggeration, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
It's fisting a dead horse.
Yeah. Fisting a dead horse. And then, again, I found this joke funny, but it just kind of felt weird with it. So much of the movie feeling like it was tailored for kids. I'm going to give away a joke. Sorry, guys, but it's only one joke. I'm going to give away one joke.
No.
Ram Man is doing his ramming thing, and Fisto says to him, "Give them head." And they all stop and look awkwardly at him. So, like, there's jokes about giving head and fisting and a lot of swearing, while it feels like it was kind of targeted at kids. So it felt this weird, like, duality in the movie in a way.
Like they didn't know what they were, in a sense.
Now, the overall tone, too, I just felt a little cringy. Again, no play on words on cringer. Like the opening of the movie, well, first they go through this kind of backstory, just Adam as a child on Eternia. But then the first part of the movie after that is just Adam on Earth. Unwatchable. I didn't like the Adam character. He's in a workplace, but it felt more like it was trying to be a bad version of Office Space. And it just, none of it worked. Him finding the sword didn't work. The one part on Earth that really worked, which is the part they showed us in the preview and a part they preview in one of the trailers, is Beastman coming to Earth. Oh, and by the way, other thing that worked really well. Beastman looked amazing. Some of the visual effects are quite shaky in the movie, but some of them are mind-blowing. And Beastman was one of the mind-blowing, just a great triumph of a visual accomplishment. He looked fantastic. Really liked him. But Tila was pretty good. Man-at-Arms was good. Just, again, a lot of the film just felt... the jokes felt flat. The silliness of it. Silliness can be fun. Look at the Lego movie. But silliness can also just feel dumb. And a lot of times it does that. So I walked out really torn, Rob, because, I went in really wanting to like this movie. And I've liked a number of the things I've seen from it and all that kind of stuff. And there are some absolute significant pros. And I remember getting into the last 15 minutes of the movie, and I thought to myself, I'm still on the edge about whether I like this movie or dislike the movie. I knew I wasn't going to love it, and I could tell I wasn't going to hate it, but I didn't quite know. And by the end of it, I kind of fell a little bit on the dislike part. So yeah, but you know what? At the same time, right now, the movie's got a 72%, which is respectable. I can totally see why another person walked out of that movie having had a little bit of a better time than me. I can totally see it. So this score, I wouldn't have been surprised with a 48. I'm not surprised with a 72. I would have been surprised with a 20. I would have been surprised with an 85, but it's right in there kind of around where I think it kind of deserves to be. So that's kind of my take on Masters of the Universe. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Pocket Hose. Guys, I'm excited to tell you about the world's #1 expanding garden hose and their brand new product, the Pocket Hose Ballistic. As you guys can imagine, I'm not exactly gentle with my gear. I drag hoses across concrete over the pool, yank them around corners. I even coil and uncoil them all the time to put them in my camper van when I go out on my movie meetups. And generally speaking, a lot of them don't last. But the Pocket Hose Ballistic has been a totally different story for me. It's incredibly durable, super lightweight, and just makes the whole job easier. One of my favorite things is how simple it is to use. You turn the water on, it expands. Turn it off, it shrinks right back down to pocket size. And it's reinforced with a liquid crystal polymer, the same kind of material used in bulletproof vests. Plus, it comes with the pocket pivot, which gives you 360-degree rotation at the spigot so it moves with you instead of fighting against you. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text Campea to 64,000. That's CAMPEA to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. Text Campea to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. Anything you want to know? Any questions you have about it?
Well, it sounds like you're describing kind of what I feared, in the sense that if you're going to create a world like this, to constantly then rely on humor that is outside of the world, like making jokes about give him some more head, it doesn't really belong. You know, you're kind of breaking the fourth wall in a way. Whereas you look at a movie like Dungeons and Dragons, which I think we all hoped it would be more like.
That's a really good comparison. If it could have been more like, because Dungeons and Dragons was able to do all those things,
yes,
but do them well, and Masters of the Universe not as much.
It retained the integrity of the universe that it created. And I was afraid that, and I'll tell you something, I wonder if some of that kind of humor was mandated by Mattel, you know, or because the companies do maintain a certain amount of control over the content of this. And I think that that's somehow problematic. I really think that if they had kept the integrity of the universe, so you're never taken out of it by jokes. You can have all the humor you want, but the humor has to stay inside of the universe that the film is presented. Once you keep breaking that with colloquial humor, it doesn't work. You're shattering the illusion that you're creating with all the great effects and Beastman looking good and like doing a faux Office Space. You could have done it more like The Last Starfighter. In the beginning, when you meet the character in Last Starfighter, you know, he's working, he lives in a trailer park, and he's working, he also works at the trailer park, but it doesn't make the workplace a bad place. Like, it doesn't turn the workplace itself into a bad place. It just is. And what you're doing is you're not setting up a reality there. You're using tropes. And I don't like that.
Yeah, again, you need to see the movie, because you may watch the movie yourself and have a totally different opinion of it than I do.
Know.
By the way, I will say another thing. There's I don't want to call it a post-credit scene, because it's like they just tag this one little thing at the very, very end of the movie that I think any fans of the original series are going to adore. And then there's a mid-credit scene, which I didn't care about, to be honest with you, but a lot of people in my audience cheered, and I could see a lot of audiences cheering. So stick it through the credit, like make sure you're there for the very button of the film at the end, and stick through to the mid-credit scene, because I think a lot of people are really going to quite like it. I like the last little stuff they did at the end. And you know, they again, near the end of the film, they decided in the last like 2 or 3 minutes of the movie, maybe 5 minutes of the movie, to really target jokes just at the animated show. Like the ridiculousness of some of the things they would do in the animated show. And they really target those in the jokes. And I got to say, that part I found really enjoyable. But again, it's weird that I still think overall the best part of the movie was Skeletor. He was done very, very well. Some of the logic didn't make any sense, but you know, it was a pretty interesting thing there. So anyway, guys, that's my thoughts on Masters of the Universe. I think a number of you will enjoy it. I think there's a number of you that won't. I'm close to the middle, but I lean a little bit to the, I didn't really like it. Certainly some enjoyable things, but I think I disliked it a little bit. I won't be going back to watch it again. Anyway, guys, did you have a chance to go to one of those fan screenings for Masters of the Universe last night? If so, what did you think? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.